$500 looks like. A box size of a mirror. So yeah, so I got the master relay, and we're gonna go ahead and put it in on the BRZ. Probably not gonna bother. I might do a little time lapse for it, but you know, it's simply a bunch of different wiring. But you can kind of see, you'll be able to see the link and how everything is all set up in there. So we're gonna kind of get working on that. We're getting ready to go to Fuel Fest. This car needs a new tie rod end, but I have a full FDF kit. It's just timing is, we're leaving in 2 days. So yeah, and then of course we've got the snappy Sinbad axle. Looks like I have been rubbing my stainless steel fuel line for quite some time, which you know, it probably needs to be fixed. But other than that, this car is, other than, you know, it not starting when it gets hot, Brian's just gonna have to not turn it off. And yeah, and then of course it amazes me how I tore up this real raised wheel so much. It's not a knock on them by any means. I went ballistic at cams, but it's crazy how much this monoblock twisted up like that. So anyway, got a new set of those coming. All right, so I don't know if you remember, but in one of the last videos that I made, I had talked about kind of everything you do is going to give you some resistance, and it's all about how you handle it. So here's a perfect example. You know, let's just start out. That's all I could see mounted up there, right? So I assumed that this little wire right here was just a twist and lock, which would make a lot of sense with this one that I ordered. But no, it is not it. So I have an email out to MSEL to see if we can overnight a new one. It's just one thing I just kind of didn't understand. New car, electronics is something totally new to me, and so apparently that flying lead runs to a can, a high, and a low, which is 6 wires going down into these little guys right here. So, and I have no idea where the heck any of all this goes. I just know it runs. Anyway, I guess I will move on to the axle or something, just to make it not a wasted day here at the shop. But yeah, there's a little bit of resistance today, and it's hard. Today is not easy to let that one go for sure, just because we have to be packed up and leaving tomorrow. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. So obviously this is the MSEL Master Relay Flying Lead. This is the MSEL Master Relay Pro version. So from what I'm gathering is that all of these, so one of these went to the ignition, one went to the body harness, and one went to the CAN system. So I kind of I'm kind of understanding what we got going on here. I haven't got confirmation yet on the, oh hello Mr. Hare. I haven't gotten confirmation on the shipping for the new one, but I'm going to go ahead and take apart this one because it's the bad one. It is spinning on the nut, all that fun stuff. So I'm going to see what's inside here to see if it's feasible to even try to take this one apart. It's so yeah, you can't take this apart. I decided to, let me back up. Beep, 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 beep. When it happened on Saturday night at the Drift Mansion, I got online, and just the first company that popped up I chose to order from, right? I was able to email them. I got confirmation they have it in stock. They would ship it the same day. I would honor overnight shipping, blah, blah, blah. There were 2 versions, Flying Lead, Club, and Pro. I just wrongly assumed that because it's a Pro car, it would use the Pro version, which was an extra $45. But that wasn't the case, and I thought I could swap it, blah, blah, blah. So after actually calling a company local to me, I didn't know, T1 Motorsports in Royce City, they think they have one in stock that I could possibly go drive and get within 40 minutes. But he also explained that I would not be able to do what I thought I was going to do, whereas to take, this component and swap it with this component in here so that I could have a flying lead on the new thing. Now, what he did say is that I don't necessarily have to return this one, and I can keep it as a spare. I just need to buy, there's an adapter that goes in here, and then it's silly, but there is a $45 adapter with some leads on it, so basically I could build that. Yes, it does. No, it doesn't make sense. This one was $45 more plus a $30 adapter when I could just get this one. So I'm sure there's something that I don't understand with that, but in my mind, it's just more money. But at least we have a solution. So I should know an answer probably within 20-30 minutes. Some of the guys are out on lunch, so they can't. I wanted to physically have someone put their hand on this flying lead version so that I didn't drive 45 minutes out of the way for nothing. But that's probably what we're going to end up doing. And in the meantime, I went ahead and popped out the axle nut on here, and I'm going to swap out the axle. So anybody with a FC RX-7, I do buy these Turbo 2 axles. You can get this brand on eBay. They are double the price, but I pick up 4 at a time from Summit Racing, and I shouldn't say that. I mean, I picked up the only 4 they had in stock, and this is finally my last one. That was 2 years ago. So yeah, this is it. So I get these from Summit. I think they're $40 or something like that. It's ridiculous. And the fact that it's 45 minutes for me makes it really easy. If I really wanted to, I could break an axle at Cam's and potentially have a new axle in 4 hours. But anyway, either way, that's not the point. Always keep them on you, and I ruined my day and weekend by not keeping this one, literally, that I had in my garage on my truck, because I could have got a tie rod. I could have got a tie rod end from O'Reilly in Atoka, Oklahoma, which is about 30 minutes from the track, and I would have had the axle installed, and my car would have been partying all weekend. So, it's just one of those things. I'm just a scatterbrained sometimes. I have a lot to think about, if you will, like, getting to the event, do the driver's meeting, the whole driver's being a driver, right? And then you have to be your own mechanic. And then now I'm my own media guy, and I've put a lot of pressure to make this channel a lot better. So I was trying to put camera stuff on, which ended up failing, as you saw in the previous video. And if you haven't, please go back and watch it, like it, check the boxes, all that fun stuff. That was the KVD Invitational and the last of the Garage series, basically. So yeah, enough just nonsense. I'm gonna swap this out real quick. On the driver's side, you have to take out it's very easy, but on the driver's side, you do have to take out the bottom of the coilover, which again is nothing, and it's actually going to be the first time doing this at eye level on the lift, so I'm pretty pumped about that. Yeah, it's just 4 bolts, and slide it in and out. Hopefully you got some enjoyment out of that. I said I wasn't going to record it, but I went ahead and did it anyway. So we got the new axle in. Obviously, everything's in. This is what typically happens. They snap right there inside of the hub. So I've had this car for 2 years now, 2.5 years, and this is the third axle that I've snapped. So the first two were snapped on Federal 595 RRs. When I first got the car, I was doing a bunch of just standing dead full throttle starts at cams, and I broke one then, and then I swapped it out, and I went out and I kind of did exactly the same thing. So I stopped running the super grippy tires on this car, on the FC, and kind of only started running the Ibitsus, and I've never really had an issue. Never had an issue. I mean, they're 360 treadwear Ibitsus. I had gone through probably 10 or 15 laps, so they weren't new by any means. This side was bald, so that may have been kind of why, and just the direction I was going or whatever, but I had these about 15 psi, and yeah, snappy poo. To another event, I need to have a backup. So that's done over there on the axle. Back to this whole situation. The lead at Royce City ended up being a bust. They do not even stock these anymore because they're low sellers, and now it makes me kind of wonder why. This is connected to the ignition, the can, and something else, and so I just don't understand how this little box communicates through my link ECU. That's kind of the little update for here. Thanks for sticking around, and yeah, the next thing we'll have on this video is going to be the FDF kit. So we're going to do the FDF kit tonight. We've got to be packed up and ready to go by tomorrow night so that we can leave Friday morning to go 12 hours each way to Atlanta Fuel Fest. This is the dream. You got to work for it. Go ahead and add to the theme and make sure that we are following the theme of Resistance Wednesday. Yes, the lift. I don't know if you remember in a previous video, I had a little bit of a small leak. So it leaked out all the fluid over about a week, but it's been sitting on the lock stops. So I took these off and went ahead and put some pipe thread on them. Well, as soon as I took them off, it had tons of pressure on it, and it exploded into the car. And then it also dropped the piston onto the ground, and the chain's all loose now, and everything's out of whack. I thought that maybe after I had that whole cabal with that one, that we bled the system, everything would be cool. As soon as I pulled this one out, the same thing happened. The piston fell down, chain top fell off, and the piston fell to the ground. And now it's just a cluster. Today is not my favorite day at all. Doing my day, but it has just been non-stop. You know, yeah. So anyway, all of my rags are full of oil. This is still pretty slippery. It got all over my jeans, all over the BRZ, the gram lights, the brakes, the brake pads, the brake discs. It got everything. And then when it did it over there, it started creeping underneath the neighbors. So and it's not even dark. So yeah, that's the update for today. Yeah, just, you know, shit happens sometimes, and excuse my language, but it's just frustrating today. But anyway, we're gonna try to persevere, see if this can go without any snags. I don't have any lights down here for you, so while I am on this journey to give you better content, this is gonna be pretty dark, and I don't have any way to fix it right now. So I appreciate it. Yeah, we're gonna get this done.